Hello, everyone. Hope we're having a fantastic Saturday. Today, we're going to do the second raid in Shadowbringers, Eden's Verse. Let's see, last time we did Eden's Gate, and that was a nice little field trip with Dadcrid, Mommy Goryanje, and Reen, and hopefully we get a bit more of that. And maybe we'll see the two more of the ARR remix. What are they called again? Primals. For Garuda for wind and Ifrit for fire. But without further ado, let's get started by talking to Yelford here. Away with the ferry. Yelford has arrived in Mordsuk bearing a pertinent information. Ah, there you are. I'm part of the team helping with the highly classified and very, very secret thing. The fact of the matter is, I've come to inform you of a rather interesting development. It's about the girl who was brought back from the empty. She's finally woken up, you see. Yelford, and Brilliant too. We heard the news from Thancred. Is it true? Why, yes, it most certainly is. Apparently, her name is Gaia. She claims to be a free citizen of Eulmore, although she remembers nothing of the events leading up to her attack on Eden. She lost her memory? Part of it at the very least. We also cannot be sure whether she's telling the truth or it's merely a ruse. She's yet to display any hostility, which is encouraging, I suppose. And Thancred's with her now, is he? Yes, he's taken her to Eulmore, mainly to verify that what she's told us so far. Who's the locals, that sort of thing. After that, the plan is to come back here, though they're taking rather longer than I had anticipated. I do hope nothing is amiss. But clearly something is amiss, or else we wouldn't have a plot. You're gonna head to Eulmore? Oh, no, another cutscene. Good grief. Are you always this slow? At any rate, it'd be dark again before we know it. The night sky returning is all well and good, but it doesn't make each day seem awfully short. And are you still dragging our heels back there? At least act as if you've got a purpose, would you? Now look here, I'm not one of your servants. Why don't you try carrying your own luggage for a change? I mean, she was Eulmoran, so... Thancred, you're back! You lot are sought for sore eyes. Yes, even you, Urianje. Gaia and I have just finished shipping her personal effects from Eulmore. I'm glad you could finally meet. Properly, I mean. So, did you learn anything useful? Other than where she lives, not an awful lot. Her supposed neighbors barely knew the first thing about her. Hell, she barely knows the first thing about herself. Her recollection of her life in Eulmore is patchy at best. But she seems convinced that she'll regain her memory if she accompanies us, and so she invited herself to join our merry band. And for her first act, she ordered me to carry her luggage. If you insist on standing around talking, might I suggest finding a place to sit down first? My feet are killing me. Maybe you should try different shoes. Those things are a bit ridiculous. Then perhaps you should have chosen a more sensible... See? That's what I said. Still, it's not such a bad idea, shall we? I mean, she's Eulmore, and of course she's gonna be stuck up. I've got so many things I want to ask, but I probably shouldn't bombard her with questions. Amnesia. 'Tis troubling, but though not entirely unexpected. Well, I've given you my early impression of Gaia, but I would be interested in hearing your opinion. Go on and talk to her and see what you might make of her situation. So, do you remember anything at all? Not attacking us? Not falling unconscious? Such selective amnesia would raise suspicion within those of a cautious mind. Yet, if she doth speak the truth, it would lend credence to my current hypotheses, though admittedly, some further... Not now, Urianger. She's only just woken up. We don't want to bore her back to sleep. Just looking. Urianger just turns and looks at him. In any case, I prefer to follow my instincts, and they're telling me that Gaia means us no harm. After much deliberation, I thought it only right to let her know about our work in the empty, as a sign of goodwill. After all, trust works both ways. Though, I would ask you, Brillian, not to let your guard down around just yet. So, you're the one I'm supposed to have fought? Come to think of it, I recognize you from somewhere. Maybe I just have one of those faces. So you should, considering you tried to kill me. Yeah, she did. Well, if Thancred's version of events is anything to go by, you weren't exactly holding back yourself. Still, it seems I didn't give you much of a choice, but to defend yourself. So let's call it even. Not that I have any recollection of it. It seems like remembering fragments of a dream, only to realize that those actually happened. It's as though my whole life has been leading to this. Thou speakest as though thou didn't expect these events. I guess you could call it that. It's what the fairy told me. Fairy? I can't see it, but it is as though there's someone else inside me, and I can hear its voice in my head. Hey, me too! It whispers to me, and lets me use its power. Magic, I suppose you could call it. Not that I know much about that sort of thing. And this power alloweth thee to tear open the fabric betwixt realities, that thou mayst call forth the aether-starved denizens of what remaineth of the 13th. What? Was that supposed to mean something, or are you just spouting random words? Yeah. That's the same thing we all say. Urianger, are you just making stuff up at this point? Honestly, I don't know how you put up with all of this. This is great. I've only just met him, and he's an insufferable prattle, is already giving me a headache. Trust me, it was worse in ARR. Gods, I still can't believe I'm having this conversation. And to think that I was flying around in a suit of armor, waving a sword. That doesn't sound like me at all. Someone else inside you? Like Minfilia was inside me. Aye, the similarities cannot be ignored, though it is too early to say with certainty. Gaia may well be the Oracle of Darkness. Didn't they say they were going to keep that a secret at the end of the last one? The Oracle of Darkness? What does this mean? It means that you may have been right when you said she has something in common with Emmett Selk. Those who have been used as a living host by an Ascian have no recollection of events that occurred during their possession. This I know from personal experience. But Gaia seems to have some memories still, even if they're a little hazy. Moreover, she has remained in control of herself even when she had heard the voice within, much like you and Minfilia. And though Reen has very much her own person, Minfilia's presence did exert a change upon her outward appearance, granting her hair and eyes a hue akin to that of her dear departed friend. It is therefore not unthinkable that Gaia's raven locks may be a manifestation of the darkness which hath come to reside within her. But I was born like this, and my parents. They both had black hair too. Or at least I think they did. It's been so long since I saw them, I can't remember too well. But enough about me. You're Minfilia, aren't you? The Oracle of Light, who they were hosting in Eulmore. Well, not quite. That's right, though imprisoning is a better word. They kept me locked away, and I didn't know much about Eulmore and its people, or the rest of the world for that matter. I see. And now, how exactly did the Oracle of Light come to run with the Warrior of Darkness? Well, it all started when... Yes, I still remember the day everyone went raving mad and Lord Valtteri fled. Everything after that is still a blur, though. From what Gaia has told me, she wasn't part of the mob that attacked us, but how was she able to resist Valtteri's control? Mayhap 'twas the intervention of this fairy of whom she speaketh. As curious as they may be, we still do not know why she appeared out of nowhere as soon as Eden took flight. This is just a guess, but I'd say that the fairy reacted to in some way, and for whatever reason made me go after it. Yes, that seems like the only explanation. I don't know what about you lot, but I've had enough nattering. I'm going back to Eden. What? But why? The fairy wanted something from Eden, and knowing that this will bring me a step closer to discovering exactly what has been living in my head all these years. Besides, my memories aren't going to restore themselves, and certainly not through idle chit-chat, so I'm going, and that's it. Gaia, wait! Insufferable. Utterly insufferable. And yet we can't well leave her on her own devices. Come on. I guess we're heading back to the empty. Looks like we're making a stop somewhere here first. She probably got attacked or something. She can't have gone far, especially not in those heels. away from me! There's like a friendly fellow. I'm gonna call him Steve. Gaia. Seems I've no choice. What am I? Well, I'd have to say pretty strong. A most fascinating application of ethereal manipulation. The destructive blast did manifest a single span of time after the initial casting. With sufficient mastery of such a technique, a second spell could be made to smite the target at precisely the same moment. While it would demand exceptional ethereal control, its tactical potential cannot be denied. Okay, nerd. Powers befitting the Oracle of Darkness. When you fought Gaia, she opened void gates, yes? Back in the source, portals of such as those were all too common, but tearing open the veil between the 1st and the 13th is a different matter entirely. We should be thankful that she's not of a mind to turn that power against us, for now. I'm not entirely sure what I just witnessed, but I'm glad she's unharmed. What are you gawping at? I don't mean to stare, but it's not every day I see magic like that. So, this is the power of the fairy you spoke of? Ever since I was a child, it has whispered to me, telling me what to do. That's how I came to use its power. But there are things I can't even explain. Holes ripped in the thin air, terrifying creatures crawling out, ghastly-looking blades and armor appearing out of nowhere. But worst of all is the dark energy that comes from inside. This power, it feels as though it's only flowing through me, and never truly mine. And even when it answers my call, it always takes a few moments for spells to work. Okay, so she didn't do it on purpose, the delay on purpose. So, in summary, you don't have control over the magic. Well, it's not as if I ever tried to control it. I haven't made a habit of fighting wild beasts. Unfortunately, it's part and parcel of traveling through Ring. And while I understand that you want answers, you're not going to find them unprepared as you are. But if your heart is set on this, then we'll help you. Reed, think about what you're saying. You seriously consider taking Gaia to see Eden. There's no telling what might happen if she loses control again, so the safest option is for her to stay away until our work is done. Somewhere we can keep an eye on her. You must realize it's for her own good. You're not my dad. Oh, don't worry, he will be. I must concur with Thancred's assessment. At present, we know precious little of Gaia's origin, and less still of her powers. If she is indeed the Oracle of Darkness, her presence may complicate a task already fraught with peril. placing our mission and her own well-being in jeopardy. In full knowledge of the risks, dost thou still wish to pursue this course? I do. It wasn't so long ago that I was living in isolation, being held against my will. Maybe the people keeping an eye on me thought that was for my own good too. But if we shut Gaia away with our own convenience, we're no better than Vothri and Ranjit. I've learned that when someone is in need, we must reach out a helping hand, not push them away. A lot of people could learn from that. Now it's my turn to do for Gaia what you've all done for me. Even knowing the danger that lies ahead, I won't choose the easy way out. This is the path I've chosen. Is that good enough for you? Well, can't say fairer than that. How about you, Rianje? The light of thy spirit doth burn brightly. Mine apologies, my dear, but we felt it necessary to test thy resolve. Let it suffice it to say thou hast left no room for doubt. For what it's worth, Reen, I never doubted you, but make no mistake. The danger that Urianger and I speak of is all too real. If you're prepared to go through with this, we'll be right there beside you. That means a lot to me, thank you. I couldn't care less who I travel with, but if we're going to go, then let's get going already. There's supposed to be some sort of craft waiting at the southern watchtower, yes? Come along then, and don't fall behind. Well then. Gaia is definitely an insufferable brat, but again, she is Eulmorean, so we'll give her a bit of a break. Why couldn't you leave this craft in Mortsuk instead of all the way out here? Actually, don't bother explaining. Whatever the reason is, I'm sure it's something frightfully uninteresting. Let's be about it, shall we? Though our circumstances hath changed, our mission most assuredly hath not. Restoring life to the empty remaineth our primary objective. Of course I'm worried about what may happen when Gaia gets close to Eden. We'll keep a close eye on her, make sure she's alright. It might be a bit of a tight squeeze with the 5 of us, but we'll manage. Perhaps Urianger can sit on top of our luggage. As usual, we should keep our sojourn here as brief as possible. Let's tend to business quickly. I had hoped that during our absence, the rebalancing of the ambient ether might work further change. Alas, 'twas not to be. Everything seems fine here, as far as I can tell. As for Gaia, she hasn't started attacking anything yet, so I'll take that as a good sign. Right, Gaia, you're not going to start attacking me yet, right? So, there it is. Trying to give Gaia a slightly deeper voice than Reen's. Eden, where I'll find the answers I seek. The bringer of the flood, the first sin eater. Would it lead me to my past or my future? What awaited on the path ahead, I couldn't say, but I had no choice but to take the first step. Blood and thunder. Gaia is lost in the thought as she gazes toward the silent giant on the horizon. So looking at this arena, if I had to guess, we're going to do wind next. Actually, with thunder, that makes me think it's going to be Garuda's remix. That would be cool. Maybe like hit by feather rain. That'll be fun. I know what it's like. It was the same for me. But I was lucky, because Thancred freed me from Eulmore, and I had a chance to see the world. More importantly, though, I met all kinds of people, and they taught me not to live in another's shadow, but to be myself. Maybe one day you'll have that chance too. Said your piece, haven't you? One day? What's that supposed to mean? I don't know how the great Oracle of Light sees such things. But for someone like me, who's only known life in Eulmore, there was no tomorrow, there was no future, only the here and now. And while we waste time on these meaningless conversations, I feel each moment of my life slipping away. Time, it won't wait. Not for me, not for anyone. I don't know how much longer I can hold on to who I am. I'm sorry, Gaia. Gaia? There's probably not even my real name. It isn't? When Thancred asked me for my name, I couldn't remember. Okay, so he named her too. He's named both of his daughters. This guy's trying to pick up chicks, he accidentally keeps on picking up daughters. That's when the fairy whispered to me, Gaia. But if you grew up in Eulmore, surely someone must know who you are. Everyone I once knew had either disappeared or had been turned into sin eaters. Those whose faces and names I still remember, that is. In the end, we found not a single person who so much as recognized me. As far as I can recall, I've never been the most social person, but still. Well, even if that's not your real name, I think Gaia sounds lovely. If you're happy with it, then that's what I will call you. And if you're willing, instead of calling me Warrior Oracle of Light, please call me Reen. It's not the name I was born with. That's long forgotten now, but the one the people whom I consider family gave me. Is that so? Well, as much as I'd love to keep up with this chatting, there's something that's bothering me. I thought the fairy would have reacted to Eden in some way, but so far nothing whatsoever. From what I gather, it wasn't until Eden started moving that I appeared out of the blue. Perhaps if we were to actually try flying it somewhere, the fairy might break its silence. If you've got elements to restore, or whatever it was, why don't you hurry up and get it over with? At once, your ladyship. You need to learn some manners. Yeah, insufferable brat. And you need to stop wasting my time. Jeez. All right, everyone. I think we talked for long enough. If you're ready, let's make our way to Eden. Okay, let's head over to Eden. See which element we're going to be going for next. Probably Garuda for wind. My memories, I think they're slowly coming back to me. My mother and father would constantly blather on about how the flood of light could return to end the world when we least expected, and that we should live each day as though were our last. They would often say, I wish this moment would last forever. That was until they were selected by Ascension by Lord Vothri, and were never to be seen again. Since I had no other relatives, even my close friends, any close friends to speak of, I was left alone in the world. A past like that hardly seems worth remembering, does it? Green's little chat with Gaia reminded me that, for all our obvious differences, there are some things we have in common. I too grew up not knowing who my parents were. The day Louisoix gave me the surname Waters was one I'll never forget. Years later, it was under rather more desperate circumstances that I gave a certain young girl the name Minfilia. Little did I know that it would end up crossing time and space, taking on a meaning I could never have foreseen. It came to be passed on to one girl after another, bidding them to a fate not their own. In a sense, it may be said that I chose not only one but two names for Reen, but by whatever name she is called, she is truly her own person now. And as central to our lives as names are, I believe that it isn't the name itself, but the bonds it symbolizes that matter most. How nice. I've done some reading about the lands swallowed up by the flood, but it seems no easy task to find locations without dominant element. I'm glad we have Urianji to point us to the right direction. Right, Urianji? I'm free. You can talk now. Don't worry. Gaia won't be all snotty about it. Neither will we. Following the initial changes wrought by the release of water and earth, the empty hath displayed no further signs of alteration. Stability, some may call this, and be satisfied, but in truth it is passivity. A passivity stemming from light's ever-pervasive presence. If we are to break the status quo, we must needs employ a catalyst, a third element that shall rouse and stabilize those unleashed energies in activity. Therefore, I propose lightning. Oh, okay, we're gonna do, big ballsack guy, right? So the primal would be Ramuh, then? Yes? Or wait, whatever, it might be a Heaven's Word one. I don't remember. I don't remember which one Ramuh is. From what I've heard, he's guardian of the forest. Oh yeah, it is the ballsack beard guy. And not particularly keen on conflict. But you've actually fought him, haven't you? He's half man, half beard, another half beard for good measure. I spent most of my time chasing after orbs. Yeah, that's about right. Ah, yes. Linkard mentioned that he more closely resembles a person than a beast, unlike most other primals, and apparently he tends to not move about much. Just like Thancred. I'm glad to see our lessons have paid off. Well, it's like you say, if we want to call forth an accurate representation of the primal, I should picture it in my mind as clearly as possible. At the very least, it's worth a try, but the rest is up to Brilliant. Stoic nod. In order for this to work, we need to actually fly somewhere, yes? So rather than sitting in one spot while you exchange anecdotes, why don't we get this blasted thing moving first? One must admit, the suggestion is not without merit. Green, might I suggest the Gandorf Thunder Plains as our next location? These plains, it is writ, were perpetually blanketed in storm clouds. The only source of illumination the ceaseless barrage of lightning. The ambient ether that lingereth there shall provide ideal conditions for summoning. And that's where we're headed. Come on, Eden. We've got a job to do. That should be a good spot as any. All right, Brilliant. Whenever you're ready. Oh yeah, I'm ready. I've even got my Ramuh warrior axe on. Or I think it's from that extreme. See, what was this one called? I missed it. I looked away for a second. Not that. Eden's Verse, Fulmination. Alright, let's go ahead and enter queue. Also, for these raids, I'm gonna try and actually, like, watch out and try to tank swap. Because last time for 2 of the, I mentioned this yesterday when I did a little bit of Dark Knight stuff, but there were 2 of the raids last time where the tank kindly asked me to provoke, and I completely missed it. So hopefully I'll actually, like, notice it and try and swap. No? And what one is this one from? Oh, there he goes. Queue popped. Let's get started. I guess I should move the waiting for queue text. It's the same song. Or is it a remixed version?
Get ready.
Yeah, it's a remixed version of the song. And this guy's got a cooler beard. Much cooler beard.
So, this is Ramuh.
Yeah, that's kind of the voice I expected for Gaia. Oh, right, let's get started. Hopefully there aren't as many orbs. Oh, right, I get poetics for doing this. That'll be great. Just follow where everyone else goes. Oh, don't want to stand next to the orbs. Am I supposed to knock them away? Okay, that's not what I was supposed to do. Oh, it was, okay. I don't see any swapping mechanic that we need to do. Oops. Of course, I should probably do the I should probably like do the whole paying attention thing. Thanks for raising me, man. I am pro. I should use the whole gang there. Guys, I wasted all those attacks there. Put the storm cloud over here. And he drops a raid on the raid. To get another one. No, I wasn't paying attention to that one either. Surprised I didn't get knocked off. Yeah, I deserve to die on that one. Wasn't paying attention at all. Okay, this time it's over there. Let's make sure to grab an orb. Oh, come on, why are you putting them there? I wasn't holding an orb. I clicked cheese puffs for breakfast. Up. Second time. I'll get better, I swear. Yeah, that time I was even looking in the right direction, I just plain didn't see it. Just showing how good I am at this. I did it again. I really need to pay attention. I didn't die, but still. I've got an orb, but I don't think I need it for this one. Just another one of these annoying ones. What side is it on this time? Oh, drop the cloud on us again. Let's grab an orb. I don't think we'll need it. Oh, okay, I see it this time. I won't get hit off this time. Okay, I finally did the mechanic. There we go. I only died 3 times. I've taken thy measure, bringer of light. What he said. I believe that's the what he said. too, because he was like testing us or something in the original. What I learned from this fight is I need to pay attention more. And I still somehow got a commendation. You people need to pay more attention than I do. So that thing was created based on your memories? Maybe there's a way we can use Eden to summon the fairy like that. I had my eye on Gaia the entire time you were fighting Ramuh. And besides the sort of reaction you might expect from someone watching you take on a half-man, half-flying horse thunder god, I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary. The fact that Eden itself also showed no signs of being affected by her presence can only be a good thing. But I'd understand if Gaia herself were more than a little disappointed that she's no closer to the answers she seeks. Once again, 'twas the most superlative display of thy punitance. Punitance. Nah. Puissance? Sure. Now, I could not fail but notice that body did belong to Ixion, fabled equine embodiment of lightning. Hast thou perchance encountered the beast? I don't know. I thought I was prepared to expect anything, but I didn't expect Ramuh to turn out quite like that. Appearance aside, he was quite aggressive as well. The sylphs believe in him as a kindly guardian clearly makes a difference to his temperament. Anyway, I'm just glad it's over. Let's go back to camp and see if anything's changed. Let's grab skill speed. Sure, it doesn't matter. The crystal's a different color, but apart from that, it all looks the same. It may look the same, aye, but it feels different. The air has grown slightly more humid, as it does before rain. I have to say, I'm not exactly prepared for wet weather. If Eden can control elements and so on, can't you tell it to send those clouds elsewhere? Speaking of which, I'm not very impressed with its so-called powers. If changing yellow crystal to purple is the extent of its abilities, it's no surprise the fairy didn't bother showing up. I hope that whatever is next is more worthwhile. What a brat! Rather than influencing the ground beneath our feet, Eden hath brought change to the firmament above. And yet 'tis clear that a more dynamic element is required for nature's cycle of precipitation and evaporation to be complete. So we need movement? Would wind do the trick? And there's Garuda. Also, Gaia's lips are ridiculous. Most certainly. It seems we have a plan. Let's not dwell too much on the effects of each individual element, and instead focus on seeing them all restored. The power of an oracle. Not to be sniffed at, it seems. All my life, you were a constant companion. Your voice ever seeping into my mind. Why then, of all times, did you abandon me? Deaf even to the crashing of thunder, or were you simply biding your time?